powered by Alienware.
Introducing the Area 51 Threadripper Edition with a liquid-cooled 16-core AMD Ryzen processor that's ready to overclock. Learn more at alienware.com.
Monsters did this.
Not monsters. Men.
America has been broken, corrupted, and beaten into submission. Its people have either embraced the Nazi Empire or been murdered in the streets, and some of the sights you'll see in Wolfenstein 2 are truly horrifying. So we thought we'd share them with you.
So sit your clown ass down, you dumb fuck Scottish motherfucker.
Men, women, children. Not screaming no more, but I can still hear you.
New York. The city was destroyed by an atom bomb in 1948, and when you arrive in the early 1960s, it's an irradiated wasteland of rubble, ash, and twisted metal. Prior to the blast, it was a city filled with life, a bustling metropolis, and the financial and cultural hub of the nation, truly the heart of America, which made it the perfect place for the Nazis to strike.
Looked like a vision out of Dante's Inferno, you know what I'm saying? I remember Maine people just wandering through the smoke. I remember screams echoing through the bombed-out buildings like howling ghosts.
In the Wolfenstein timeline, the Nazis beat America in the race to develop the atomic bomb, and didn't hold back once they had it. Their strike on New York forced the US to surrender. These decimated city streets and crumbling skyscrapers represent the fall of America.
And I remember this mother and son. This boy was blindly stumbling through the chaos. His arms were outstretched, calling out for his mama. And the heat from the bomb had melted the skin on his arms, and they just drooped. Like he was wearing a shirt that was a couple of sizes too big.
I don't know if you've ever been to New York, perhaps it's even your home city, but seeing it wiped out like this, knowing that prior to the bomb dropping it was home to nearly 8 million people, I don't know if creepy is a strong enough word. It's downright horrifying.
And I remember his mama. She was crawling to get to him, and the half of her body was all gone. It was just gone. You know who's running the South after the Nazis took over? The Ku Klux motherfucking Klan, am I right?
That's it.
Roswell, New Mexico. This is quite possibly the most disturbing location on the list. Not because it's been destroyed or the streets are littered with bodies. In fact, at first glance, it looks just like any traditional 1960s American town, complete with a diner, movie theatre, and a parade. But looks can be deceiving.
Gee whiz, what a swell movie. The Fuhrer sure cleaned up Hollywood from all that depraved filth they show in cinema. Now, it's much more wholesome. And what a hoot of a movie. You're in for a real treat.
Roswell has embraced the Nazi occupation. Either through fear or simply agreeing with their new overlords, the people of this town now walk the streets alongside Nazi soldiers, officers, and members of the Ku Klux Klan.
I like your style, Americans. Very good. You're part of the Reich now, subject of the great Führer. I hope for your sake you consider the Reich and all its glorious people your own.
Yes, of course, sir.
Propaganda covers every surface. The people are taking German lessons, reading their books, and even celebrating the Nazi victory with a parade through the streets. And Roswell isn't alone. Every city and town across the United States that isn't rubble looks just like this. Its people have given up. Their fighting spirit is gone. Some of them embraced the Nazis, seeking the approval of their new masters. Racists and bigots, they now proudly walk down the streets in their KKK robes. But others are just scared. They're afraid for their lives and those of their children, and honestly, who can blame them? The woman in the diner with her son are the representation of most of the American populace, just trying not to draw attention to themselves, trying not to be thrown into labour camps or shot in the head for saying the wrong thing. They just want to survive.
Come on, Peter, let's go someplace else.
But Mom, we
No
haven't even...
buts!
Oh! Bitteschön.
Danke.
Good day, man.
I'll be in the grave rotting away, and still a better daddy than you.
Another of the most creepy locations has to be your old family home. Right at the start of the game, we see it in some horrifying flashbacks. Watching from inside a cupboard as your father abuses your mother while she tries to protect you before turning his anger on you. His attempt to force you to kill your dog was truly one of the most heartbreaking and disturbing moments in the entire game.
You are so feeble, just like your mother.
All this makes it so much darker when you finally return to the house. You'll see flashbacks to your childhood, which by themselves might seem simple and innocent, but given the context of what we know happens later, they are so much more disturbing. You see your dog bringing back memories of your father's actions, and you also meet a young girl called Billy. It's because of your friendship with Billy that your father flew into a rage at the start of the game, and although it doesn't tell you what happened to her, it almost certainly wasn't anything good.
I think you're very handsome, and I like you.
The return to your childhood home, now a wreck of a place, brings back more than bad memories. You'll also find your father waiting for you, shotgun in hand. Letters found around the property tell you that he has embraced the Nazis, even giving them incriminating information on his neighbours, but the man himself tells you what happened to your mother.
You sold her out.
So what? Wife made a living bemoaning me and raised a boy into a murderer.
Normally, killing your own father would add to how dark and creepy this location feels, but honestly, he had it coming.
I tell you, them goddamn Nazi sumbitches coming here, we gonna shoot their asses out, I tell you what. Going out in a blaze of glory, hallelujah!
New Orleans has been decimated by the Nazis, but in a totally different way to New York. While New York was wiped out instantly with an atom bomb, what happened in New Orleans was slow, agonizing, and horrifying.
They gathered up all the undesirables, and they dumped them there. So that Horton and his comrades and all these people are just stuck there, languishing in the worst conditions imaginable.
The city has become a massive ghetto, surrounded by a giant wall blocking off access in or out. Nazi death squads patrol the streets, gunning down the inhabitants or burning them alive. As you walk the streets, you can hear distant gunfire and the screams of the dying, all the while knowing there is nothing you can do.
God damn it, they're gonna purge that whole city till there's no one left.
We gotta do something.
Right on.
Bodies litter the streets and float down the rivers. Homes have been destroyed and burnt to the ground. But through all this, New Orleans is actually the home to the people with the most hope. The American resistance made their base here, and it's by recruiting those people that the revolution truly starts to take shape. So as creepy and disturbing as this location is, it's also one of the most hopeful in the entire game.
You know, my ma always said, never trust a man can't handle his whiskey. So you sit right down, sit there, Billy, and drink up.
It's fascinating that it's not really the Nazi bases or airships that are the disturbing locations. We've seen that kind of thing many times before, but seeing America defeated and even worse, embracing the Nazi empire is truly a horrifying sight. But which of the locations do you think is the most disturbing? Was it the irradiated New York or the devastated New Orleans? Perhaps it was your return home, or did you find the sight of the Klansmen and Nazis proudly walking down American streets the most horrifying? As always, this is James Verkerse saying thanks for watching and enjoy the game.
Powered by Alienware.
Introducing the Area 51 Threadripper Edition with a liquid-cooled 16-core AMD Ryzen processor that's ready to overclock. Learn more at alienware.com.